Hey everyone, how are you? I just wanted to make another quick video. Today I wanted to share something interesting that I was reading in the Gita, and it was about not being attached to the fruits of your action, saying that we have the right to do our duties, whatever duties those are, responsibilities to the people in our lives, our jobs, but we don't have any right to the outcomes, to the fruits of those actions. And when I was reading this, I really had to take a step back and try to understand what it really means. And then I just kept on reading, and then I have some of my own opinions, and I wanted to share those with you today. So I believe in the Gita when the text is saying, "Don't be attached to the fruits of your actions." I think what it's trying to say is not to have expectations on your actions, on what you do. This is not to say that we shouldn't be having any expectations at all. I think when you set out to do any type of goal, there is an expectation, an underlying desire, and an underlying goal. But I think what the Gita really is trying to convey is to not have attachment to that outcome, no matter what it is. And I guess a perfect example would be, say if your goal is to run a mile and you try your absolute hardest to run that mile, but you fall short. Let's say you fall, I don't know, a quarter mile short. Well, that's what it is. You gave it your all. The goal was to finish the mile, but you still didn't. Being unattached to that outcome means that you can still keep your head up high, even though the goal wasn't reached. But there still was a goal that you were trying to attain. So I really do think that's what that specific scripture or verse was trying to tell us. And I think we can take this anywhere into our lives if we really want to. I take it as being the best father you can be, making sure that I raise my daughter the best I can, give her all the love and encouragement and insight and wisdom that I've gained through the years, make sure that she's healthy, that she's well fed, do everything in my power to raise a strong child. But at the end of the day, she has a will and she's going to live the way she wants to live. But I need to be okay in my heart that I did put everything on the line, did everything I could to ensure her safety, her happiness, and her well-being. So there it is. I have a right to the actions. It's my right. It's my duty to be a father. But I am unattached to the fruits. However her life turns out is how it turns out. But I need to be okay with myself and make sure that I do everything correctly. You can take this with your careers. You can take it to a job interview, making sure that you prepare and do everything you can to make sure that that interview is so in line with everything that you have inside that you really just did everything you could. And I think you can just put that anywhere in life. And I think that's why this verse is so beautiful. I'll put this verse down in the comments for you just because I think there's so much wisdom in knowing that we have a duty. We all have a God-given duty on this planet, a purpose, but to be unattached to those outcomes, to not be attached to those outcomes is a very, very strong place to be. It reminds me, I used to be a football fan a long time ago when the Niners were winning during the Jerry Rice days, but I do remember a story when Jerry Rice had just won the Super Bowl. And, the day before, just won the Super Bowl. And I think Steve Young went to the training facility. He had to get something. And he saw Jerry Rice running bleachers up and down, running bleachers. And he was already working out and preparing for next season, even though they just won the Super Bowl. And to me, in some capacity, that shows not being attached to outcome, to the results. Here he is, just won the Super Bowl. Be very easy just to sit and, celebrate, which is also important. There's a time and place for that. But I guess the more enlightened you get. And I think Jerry Rice was enlightened when it came to football. He knew that he's not attached to those results because it's not about winning anymore. It's about keeping on going and, just becoming a better self. So I think that was very revelatory to this quote, in relating that to something that's in my life. But yeah, I just wish you guys all that, be strong and, know that we all have duties and responsibilities, and sometimes they aren't pretty. Sometimes they're hard. But if you go with the outcome that I'm just trying to be the best I can be, and I'm going to make every moment count no matter what I'm doing, then you don't really have to worry too much about the outcome. You don't really have to have that immense expectation. I think going in, you have to have a desire in what you want to accomplish, but letting the cards fall is where they're going to fall. I mean, I wrote an article about this, about a samurai shooting like a bow and arrow. And, the samurai can do everything in his power to make sure the bow staff is aligned correctly, the arrow is pointed to where it needs to be pointed, that he's still, that he's silent, that he is completely focused on the target. But as soon as he lets go of that arrow, it's no longer in his control or her control. So that's what I really believe that this quote is also trying to tell, is we don't have control on those outcomes. So don't be attached to them because you don't know how they're going to land. Have a desire on what you want to happen, but it's not in your cards. So that's all I wanted to share today. I hope it finds some value for you. I think I'm going to write an article about this, post it on my Substack. I'll put the information down below so you have all of it. And I look forward to seeing you again. And as always, much love.